Hello and welcome. This video is going to be a what sold video from me, and this is for all the platforms that I sell on that are not live selling platforms. So that currently for this video is going to be Etsy, Poshmark, and eBay. And I'm going to work from the lowest performing platform first and work my way up. And this is everything for the week of December 1st through December 7th. So the first week of December. We're going to start with Etsy first because that is the lowest performing platform. I had one sale on Etsy this week. It was this Izod sweater that I purchased from a hole-in-the-wall thrift store in Brahamsville. And I paid, I think, like $2 for this, and it sold on Etsy for $15. I bought this one and a green one, and the blue one sold, so. I still think this is great. Again, Etsy is a great place for me to just set it and forget it with my vintage stuff, and I love the platform. Miss Moxie is now going to say hello and get switched over. We're going to Poshmark, and I sold this apple pie plate on Poshmark. I know it says 15, but I actually sold it on 12. I'm not quite sure why it's showing 15. I sold it for 12. I actually originally picked this up for a Thrifted Treats, which if you have not watched that, the algorithm doesn't really know what to do with the Thrifted Treats, so I will link that video up above if you want to watch me bake a pie. That is the recipe on this plate. I love doing them. My core audience loves watching them. YouTube just doesn't know what to do with them. But I originally picked this up for that and then sold it. I actually had picked up two of these. I managed to find two, and both sold in December, but this is the first one to sell, and it sold on Poshmark for $12, which is great because it made packing it so easy. And then this pair of shoes, you can see me modeling them here. I don't know why I thought that that would sell them faster. I thought they looked cute. It's a pair of Rebel. I sold them for $20. These came in a ThredUp shoe box, so I was so grateful when these sold because I have had these forever. But they were size 10. I thought they were super cute. They were actually like a size too big for me, which is why I didn't keep them. But they sold for $20, and I'm so glad that they are gone. We're gonna move Miss Moxie again because now we're gonna go to eBay, which is my main bay. You see here that I actually have a little notebook to go with my normal phone to go over sales with y'all, because I don't know if it was because of the season, because December is normally the season that everybody feels like the most giving and loving, and you guys definitely gave me a lot of love for my Thriftness series. But I have a lot of people to thank for the month of December, like every single week. So I made sure to write down everything, and that's what the notebook is for, to make sure I don't mess anything up, because you guys were just extraordinarily generous and like bought a bunch of stuff from my stores in December, but not everyone sent a message in eBay. So I had to go through and look in like my Instagram DMs. I got random comments on YouTube like for videos and stuff. So like I tried to get everybody. So if I left you out this month, I am so sorry. I've literally looked everywhere and tried to make sure I got everyone. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. Just know that I appreciate you. First two sales actually sold to Tammy. She bought two shorts from me. So Tammy, thank you very much. She bought a pair of the cool Rambler shorts that I found, I believe, at the first store for Thriftmas, and then a pair of Iron & Co. shorts that I picked up a long time ago. They were camo. So Tammy, thank you very much for this purchase. I super appreciate it. You can see here I also refunded Tammy for the shipping overages. I always refund shipping overages, not just for my subscribers and my viewers. I do it for everybody. I know I've had a comment on my channel being like, why did you refund their shipping? Like, you should make people pay for shipping. I do. If you see me refunding anybody for shipping, it's because they paid more in shipping than what the thing costs, and I don't feel right keeping that amount of money, especially if it's a significant amount of money. You do you and your business. I'm not judging you at all. I'm just saying, for me, I personally do not want to keep that money. So Tammy, thank you very much. I hope that the person you gave these to like the shorts and that they're getting really good use out of them. And thank you so much for supporting me here on YouTube and also my business. Another big thank you is Donna Puffles, who you guys see in the comments down below. She actually bought a couple of things from me. She bought a couple of books from me, and then she also bought a pair of the Fiesta Wear mugs, which also was from the first Thriftmas video. She bought them to replace some that she said she had broken. There are 2 Fiesta Wear mugs, the green and the blue one. And then also a Star Trek book and a Christmas Carol book, which is very fitting considering it was for December. But both the Star Trek book and the Christmas Carol book, I picked up the Christmas Carol book at the bins, and I picked up the Star Trek book at a thrift store. So I paid like $1.50 for both of the books. And then the mugs you guys saw in the video. If you haven't seen my Thriftmas series, I will also link that up above for you guys to watch the playlist if you're interested. But yeah, Donna, thank you very much for continuing to support me, and I hope you got around to reading them. This was an international sale. This is Scary Kids Scaring Kids, which is an emo band from like the aughts. This was free to me because this came from Nex. I just never gave back the shirt. Yeah, so I sold it because I don't wear it. It's too small for me now because the gun needs more space. So I sold it. It went somewhere overseas, so it's never being seen again. It did have a couple of small holes in it because I did wear it for quite a long time. And yeah, it sold for $12.50 and I already received positive feedback. So even if something is flawed, it's rare enough, you could still sell. So this was a good sale. So this is a pair of Anchor Blue. In my last video that I did, which I was doing the Money Pile Monday, I sold immediately the other pair of Anchor Blues. It's the difference between the loose baggy and then just the regular baggy loose. They're different somehow. But this is the regular pair of jeans and the other one was a pair of slacks. They're different. I only paid $3 for these in California when I went thrifting with Courtney, Common Tags, and she was like, really? You're gonna pick both those up? I'm like, yes, you do not understand. Like, this is so in right now. And like, I listed this, you know, a month ago and it sold almost immediately. In a month, that's how much money, like, this has gone up in value. Like, this is really hot right now. So if you are on the West Coast and you are sourcing and you find some vintage Anchor Blue, I would recommend picking up and immediately listing it because it is selling. So these sold for $19. I paid $3 for them when I was thrifting with her at Eco Thrift, which is kind of cool to go to the first time. And yeah. Also, Moxie is being super needy right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys this now. I do plan on having a Thriftmas video out tomorrow, but it 100% depends on her. She is going to have her surgery tomorrow, Wednesday, January 4th. So if you want to send some good vibes in the comments, I will accept all of them. I am trying really hard not to think about it because, you know, it's just her getting her teeth cleaned and a couple of teeth removed. But there's always a chance that they don't wake up from anesthesia. So I'm just trying not to think about that, and I'm not trying not to get emotional now. So just send some good vibes and I will let you guys know on Instagram how she does. If you don't see any videos from me for a while, something bad happened, so just not trying to put that out there, sorry. All right, on a nice note, the next 2 sales I'm going to share, I have Leah to thank. Leah has been so supportive December and into January. Leah, thank you very much. Actually, Leah, you did awesome because the number of messages I got for this one sweater, you had some competition, but you got there first. This ModCloth XL mixed media sweater she purchased from me from 1987 for $19.87. This is one of the first things I got for Thriftmas. I think I picked this up at the CHKD. I think this is like the 2nd or 3rd video for Thriftmas, but that's amazing. And then she also decided to buy one of the Tamak Pottery one-handers and the saucers. I think it's because I talked it up so much. If I do find the Frosty Pine colorway in Tamak, I will probably keep it because I just really like the physical feel of holding those, and hopefully you like them too. But she bought that from me for, I believe, $19.87 as well. So thank you so much for buying both of those from me, and I hope you're enjoying them. And I hope that you don't regret buying this from me. I mean, I don't feel like she'd regret buying the sweater. The one-hander is just such a unique piece. and it's just such a cool piece. Like, I feel like that's a talking point. Like, if you just whip that out while you're like entertaining, I feel like someone would be like, what is that? But Leah, thank you so much, and I hope you're enjoying them. This is a Lafayette 148 piece. I am much more selective, and I think I've dialed in more of what I need to pick up from Lafayette 148. It's a mid-tier designer brand. Just it's a hit or miss. And this was a hit because this was a 100% silk piece. It had an interesting fall pattern. I picked this up in California. I think I paid like $7 or $8 for this. But it sold for my full asking price of $34.87, so I am so stoked about that. So the next one is another book. I have Suzanne to thank for this. She actually bought a couple of books from me. This is her second book, I think, that she's purchased from me, and I didn't realize she was a viewer until like later on, and I think until she left left her positive feedback for this book that I realized that she was a viewer. So Suzanne, thank you very much. She bought the Crucible for me. This is a vintage copy from 1959. I picked this up from the bins. So I paid 25 cents for this. When I pick up books from the bins, it's just because I think they're really, it's either because they're super valuable, 2, because I love books, and 3, because it's at the bins, it's the last hurrah. If those books don't get purchased, they get put in a dumpster, and that just makes me so sad. So Suzanne, thank you for helping me give a new home to some really beautiful vintage books. Thank you very much. Helen, I have to thank for this purchase. She bought this for me for $17.50. This is the Norm Thompson sweater that I picked up at the CHKD that I picked up the ModCloth piece from. I paid about $4.50 for this, cost averaging. So thank you very much, Helen. I hope you love it. It's so cute. It was a really nice like blue color with a little dragonfly on it. Very adorable, and I appreciate you supporting me both here on YouTube and also in my business. This is a pair of new with tags Levi Strauss signature jeans. The signature jeans are like literally like the bottom tier of the jeans. The only reason I purchased these because they were new with tags. Somebody bought them for $14.30 and paid for shipping, all in. Basically, they paid what they would have bought for new from like Walmart.com or wherever else this is sold from. So grateful for this. I'm so glad somebody bought this for me. Another vintage piece I've talked about before, where I sell these knitted mock necks all the time. These vintage knitted mock necks. They're just classic. They're cozy. They're comfortable. They're on trend. So I pick these up whenever I find them and they're in good shape. This one sold for on offer for $15, and I paid like $2 for this at a thrift store. So this Xmas Crewneck that I also picked up for Thriftmas, I believe is another viewer, but I'm not 100% sure. I think this is one of those where I got a message randomly either on YouTube or on Instagram, and I'm not 100% sure. But if you're watching, Megan, thank you for purchasing this for me. This sold so fast as soon as I listed it. It was a cool vintage piece. I rarely find like the vintage bros go hard in my area, so it's rare for me to find really cool vintage sweatshirts and vintage t-shirts. So to find this and to sell it so quickly just in time for the holidays was absolute perfection. She bought this for me for $14, and this was in a Thriftmas video. So Megan, thank you so much, and I hope you got some good wear out of it in December. This is another Thriftmas piece. This is a Bulwark fire resistance piece that sold, I think when I had put the video out, it had already sold. Sold for my full asking price of $14.87. Fire resistance, if you can get it for like $5 or less, is a good thing to pick up because it does hold its value, especially if it's been cared for properly. This was, because you can feel a difference in it. If you wear fire resistance clothing, you cannot use fabric softener. You technically shouldn't use fabric softener on your activewear gear, but people don't listen to that. If you don't know, fabric softener is liquid wax when you put it into your laundry detergent, laundry cycle, whatever. So if you put wax on clothing, that you just basically made a candle, which is why it's no longer fire resistant anymore. Don't know why I needed to tell you that, but yeah, sold this. Awesome. Another viewer sale. Dorothy, thank you very much for purchasing this champion shirt from me. She bought this pretty much as soon as the video came out. I hoped you enjoyed it. or are enjoying it, and thank you so much for always being so supportive. Donna and Dorothy and Leah all purchase from me regularly, and it means a lot that you guys support my store and support my YouTube channel so much. Literally the reason why I'm able to do this still, so thank you. Now this tie, I've talked multiple times how much I love reselling ties. I know it's not everybody's jam. Again, my mantra is you do you. And this actually sold, this is the third time it sold. The other 2 times they didn't pay for it. So whoever purchased it this time actually paid for it, and they paid my full asking price of $14.87, and they paid for shipping. This is a vintage Scotland tartan tie. You can look up the different tartans. There's a booklet from, believe the Victorian era. I sold a tie. There you go. I paid like $2 for this. I bought this Nancy Drew book at the bins for 50 cents. It sold for $3.87. Again, I'm just trying to save beautiful vintage books from the trash. These Pumpernail placemats I picked up at Goodwill near my house for Thriftmas. I paid, I think, like $5 or $6 for all 5 of these, and they sold like right after the video went out, or before the video went out. I'm not 100% sure, but they sold around the same time as the video dropping for $24.87. So stoked. Pumpernail placemats always sell really well for me, but this is the second time I find them. I rarely find them, but I do pick them up whenever I do find them. This is an aloe bean piece, another piece that sold. This is the second time it sold. They actually paid for it this time, and have given me positive feedback. Sold for $7. This is a thank you to Michael. He did not buy this from me, but he did gift it in one of his boxes that he sent me. I do like selling vintage accessories, not just ties. I do like the dainty things as well. And because this was free, I was perfectly happy to let it go for $1.50. You know, I only made $1 from the sale, but again, saving a beautiful vintage thing from the trash. This is another beautiful vintage piece. This is All That Jazz, which you guys resoundingly told me was not a dance brand. It's just a style brand from the 90s. So thank you for that. But this is a beautiful vintage green velvet dress, and it sold for $25, and the buyer paid padded flat rate for shipping because this was crushed velvet and very heavy, and it was a long maxi dress with long sleeves. Absolutely gorgeous, super swishy, which is why I thought it was a dance brand. So whoever had that, I hope they wore it for the holidays and loved it. Another piece, again, just trying to save it from the trash. I picked this up at the bins for 50 cents. This is a vintage copy of the original Pinocchio. So this is the original Pinocchio, not the Disney Pinocchio, the original Pinocchio. From 1924. It was in very rough shape, which is why I was perfectly happy to let it go for $1.50. Again, just trying to save beautiful pieces of our living history from going to the dumpster. So super excited about that. They already left me positive feedback and everything. So this aloe yoga piece is the only time I found aloe to resell, and I found this in California. Trust and believe that if I find some aloe in my size, I'm not giving it up. But this is a men's piece, and it sold for $24.87, which was my full asking price. And when I listed this, I got a dozen offers for like $10, $15. Again, I've mentioned that in a previous What Sold video, that if that happens, I just gotta wait it out. I know that it's in the band and people are just trying to get a deal. So I just let it ride, and it eventually sold. I believe I paid $6 for this at a thrift store in California. Another piece that I picked up at the bins, again, these have some sentimentality reasons for it, because when this collector's edition came out, I worked at Barnes & Noble, or for Barnes & Noble. So I personally had a couple of these. And that's how come, like, when I saw these, I knew what they were, so I just picked them up out of the bins. This one had, like, a gash in it, which is why I sold it for $1.27. I made, like, 50 cents off of the sale. I know that's not for everybody. Again, I do this because I want this to be my job. But part of the reason why I started reselling and love reselling is because of the fact that I don't want stuff to get thrown away. I especially books. Books and beautiful vintage clothing, I don't want to get thrown away, which is why I'm cool with, you know, not taking a high profit on some things. I mean, I still doubled my money on this, and also like repairing stuff as well. Like, I want things to not go in the landfill. Landfills are full enough as it is. This is an Izod piece. I picked up new with tags. The reason I picked this up at all is because it was $1 at the Air Force Retirees Estate sale forever ago. So, I mean, that thing is still paying off almost 2 years later. It just took time. And, you know, for less than $1, totally down to hold on to this for a while. This is something I also picked up for Thriftmas. This is an Earth, Wind, and Fire DVD that I picked up at the yard sale in Hampton. I paid, I think, $1 or $2 for this, and it sold for $8 very quickly after I listed it, so I'm down for that. And the person that purchased this, like, their whole thing was the music, so I think they're just a really big fan of music. This is the first CD to sell. So I sold the DVD from the yard sale, and then this is the first CD to sell. And I was so surprised that this was the first CD to sell from that Thriftmas haul. Sold for $2.87. This is Crunk Juice from Little John and the East Side Boys. And I just laughed when I saw this. This went to Maryland. So whoever has the CD, I hope they're jamming out to that. It just made me happy. This is a pair of FootJoy Pants. I picked these up at a Goodwill in Williamsburg, or at the Goodwill in Williamsburg, because there's only one. And I paid $5 for these, and they sold for $15.90. This is a pair of Dimitas Cups, so they hold 2 ounces or less. That's why they have that specific title. And I picked these up for $2 at the Restore in Newport News. And you see they sold for $14.87. In fact, when I brought them up to the register, the lady was like, wow, they marked these real low. And I was like, yeah, they did. I was also very surprised this was only $2. But she sold it to me, so it was great. Okay, so this is the last thank you for this What Sold video, and I have to thank Melissa for this. When she saw this in my Thriftmas video for the yard sale, she immediately purchased this when I sent offers to watchers for $22.84. Again, this Fran Lebowitz piece, even if you don't really resell books, this is a striking enough cover. I feel like you could see this at a distance. If you see this book, pick it up. It is worth money. The hardcovers are worth even more, around $40 to $50. I definitely feel like this is a book people should know about. I hope you got around to reading the book, and if you did, that you enjoyed it. So Melissa, thank you very much for purchasing this from me, and also saving something from languishing in the thrift store and possibly going to landfill. This is another thing I had to wait for the right buyer. So this is my first and only Spirit jersey I have found from Disneyland, and it sold for my full asking price of $34.87. And this is something I repaired. It had a small hole in it, and I just stitched it up real quick, and I disclosed that I repaired it. It was actually in the front, but it was down at the bottom, and they still bought it for my full asking price of $34.87. Again, not afraid to repair things, and some things are worth either repairing or worth picking up still, even if they're flawed. So that was the last thing I had to share for that week. Again, December has been very good. This is my first What Sold for December, but trust me and believe that pretty much every week is just going to be this thick as far as sales go. So I ended 2022 strong, and I'm hoping to carry that energy into 2023. And again, please send some good vibes below for Miss Moxie tomorrow, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. If not, you know what happened. Okay, bye. Bye. I know. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. My butt is not that big. Come here. There you go. My goodness. All right.